Hello and welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about something that I briefly touched in another video of mine, and that is physical tics. Now, I said in that last video that I had gone through it for years and I was ashamed and I didn't seek any help. And I wanted to. I wanted help, but I didn't. I thought that it would be too much of a financial strain on my parents. See, we didn't grow up with that much money at all. And by we, I mean including them. They grew up poor. My dad lived off in the sticks, and he literally lived off of the land. Whatever they had, as far as fruits and vegetables went, they would hunt to eat, and they would only buy groceries when they had enough money. My mother was a bit more financially fortunate, but our mother worked so very hard to support 7 children, I believe. So they didn't have much either. And knowing this, I felt that it would be a burden to them. Knowing that they would if they could have, but I didn't want to put them through that. And that was my mistake for doing that. I should have told them about it because they knew that I had these tics. I couldn't hide them from them. It was something that I should have brought to their attention because even back then when I was a child, I I should have known that it wouldn't really have been that much, and it would have been something that they would have done. And now, as I am now, the adult that I am, the 24-year-old man, I would, without a second thought, as fast as I could, if my son or daughter, or both, whenever I have kids, told me that they needed help with something, that they were suffering through a mental illness, like if they broke their leg or they were suffering with anxiety, I would go straight away to try to help them in any way that I could. Because that's what you do for the people that you love. You don't care about money. You don't care about how much it costs, how much time it takes. You just want them to be happy. And that's how everybody feels about the people that they love. And I, growing up, didn't realize that. I think maybe they instilled to me too much the value of $1 and overlooked the value of the heart. But they did the best they could, and I was saying that they were struggling. But the point of this video is to say that physical tics, again, are not something to be ashamed of. And at least from my experience, they are something that through a hell of a lot of effort can be conquered by yourself. But again, as I said in the past video, it is not the best route. It's fucking over a decade it took me to get them under control. And even now, they still come out every now and then. Even now, as I make this video, I've done them a couple of times. You see, even though I thought that it would be a burden to them, and even though I thought it was something shameful, it honestly isn't. It's like any other mental illness. It's something that needs to be addressed and brought into the light. There's no need for a stigma of it. There's no need for a stigma of depression either. I should have told my parents that I really wanted to seek help for this. And I know that they would have helped me the best that they could have, personally and professionally. And hell, I probably could have gotten rid of my tics within a year tops, if not 2. I wouldn't have had to, oh my gosh, suffer through several, not mental breakdowns, but just, getting so frustrated that you just lay in your bed and cry. And think, why can't you stop this? Why can't you stop doing this? You've tried so hard. Damn it, why won't it stop? There's been a few times where I've gotten to that point. I could have avoided it all had I just confided in my parents. That I blame for myself. But to you out there who are suffering from this, that feel the same way, I know there are some of you that are very hardcore in your beliefs and that you don't want to seek help because you see it as charity, or you don't want to seek help for other reasons. I'm trying to relay the message that it is necessary to receive help. If you really want to get them under control, if you really want to have the tools, the mental blueprint of how to get these under control, there are people that sole career is to help you do that. Yes, some of them are expensive, and then some of them are not. And again, helping yourself is also really a good idea too. Do as much research as you can. Any psychological books that specify physical tics, try to learn some of the techniques from that. But don't let it ride. Don't let it ride like I did, because I missed out on so much as a kid because of that. I missed out on going to friends' houses because I was too afraid that I would have a fit of these tics. I missed out on going on a couple of field trips for the same fear. I mean, there are times where I just said fuck it, and I went anyway, and it turned out that I was able to keep them in control. But I missed out on all of these things. I didn't have my first kiss until I was 20 years old. Why? I'll tell you why. It's because I felt that because of my tics, that I didn't think any woman would want me, to accept me. And so I purposely avoided it because I didn't want to have somebody date somebody that dealt with that they would feel ashamed to take me out, and that was wrong. Because just like somebody wouldn't be ashamed to take their boyfriend or girlfriend out that has burns all over their body, somebody that's not ashamed to take their paraplegic boyfriend or girlfriend or wife out that isn't ashamed, would also be that same person that wouldn't be ashamed to go out with their boyfriend or girlfriend that has physical tics, that has depression, that has anxiety. And had I gone to seek help, I would have realized that a hell of a lot sooner, and my quality of life would have been a hell of a lot better. So please, go out and get help, if you can. And to those who are still very stubborn in your ways, because I know damn well I was stubborn in my ways. I have a few tips to offer you. And this is not something you should do instead of seeking help. This is something that you should also do as you are avidly trying to seek assistance. But this is advice that I want to share with you guys that also suffer from this. And I know I'm not on the face cam today. I'm trying out some new software. Just a new idea. And also, it is an emotional topic, so yeah. But one of the things that helped me was that if you specifically have a tic, or one that's coupled even with OCD, and you feel like if you don't do that certain tic, that something bad is going to happen, or that, something's not going to go quite right, because that's part of what mine was. I felt that if I didn't do that, if I didn't do it exactly perfectly, every single time, several times, that because of that lack of perfection, something bad would happen. And so I forced myself as hard as I possibly could to not do those tics. And I waited an entire day. Nothing bad happened. I finally had clarity in my mind. There was no haze for that entire day. The entirety of that day, until I went to sleep and in the next morning, nothing bad happened. And so I thought to myself, oh, well, okay, let me let me try it again. Except I only did a few ticks that time. Because it's very hard to just quit cold turkey. So I let myself do it a little bit. And again, nothing bad happened. Even though I did them less. Next day, the same thing. And then on the fourth day, I don't remember exactly what it was, but something bad did happen. But it wasn't because I didn't do my ticks. It was because a family member of mine, as a lot of our family members don't really take care of themselves very well, suffered a heart attack. And in my physical tick-riddled mind, going 1,000 miles a minute, I thought it was because I didn't do my ticks, that I didn't take away that anxiety, that I didn't bring that anxiety bottled up into myself and take it out of the universe, that it went into them and caused them enough stress to have a heart attack. Now just sit back and just take that in for a second. That is how severe my tics were, that I actually rationalized continuing to do them because I didn't take frustration and anxiety out of the world and into my own, frustration. And I thought that because I didn't do that, that absence created a vacuum and shot it to a relative of mine. That is ridiculous. But that is how bad off I was. And that is how bad off some of the rest of you are. And just think about that. I mean, there's no way that doing something so simple like that only affects you could possibly hurt anybody else. There is absolutely no way. And good and bad things happen all the time. It's not determined by whether or not you do your ticks, or whether or not you do them perfectly, or whether or not all of your bookshelves, are perfectly aligned alphabetically, A through Z, uh, 3 inches separated from each other on the wall. It's not how that works. But it's how we rationalize it, because it's been a part of our lives for so damn long that our body doesn't want to quit them. Our mind doesn't want to quit doing it because it's so familiar, it seems like something we need to be doing, but in reality we don't. So please, if you suffer from that similar severity of tics like I used to, just remember that. I mean, it's just say it out loud to yourself, and you're like, wow, that really doesn't make any sense. And then just, if you can, because there were points where I could just stop doing them altogether and I was okay and it was easy, and then they would come back full force. But if you can, just try to do that for a day or for even a couple of hours. And every day you increase that time little by little. Whatever amount of time that you can stop doing these tics, stop them. For however little that is. Pardon me. And just continue to do that and build and build. And that will help. Also, something else of another tic that I had. Or, well, another specific portion of them, because I had many. Oh, I had many. I had a breathing one that that nearly made me pass out several times. Yes, that's right, I had a tic that affected my breathing. Well, that I affected my own breathing. And I had done it so much that I wasn't aware how much I should be breathing regularly. Like, it upset my circulatory rhythm to where it's hard to explain, but like I thought I was breathing the right amount, but really I was breathing too deeply. I was breathing too much, and then I was like, okay, well I need to breathe more shallowly, and then I was not. It's difficult to explain, but the very few of you that also suffered from that will understand. These were very severe tics, but another thing too is to try and not think about them, which, as difficult as that may seem, whenever you get focused on something, whenever you play a video game, or whenever you're whatever you're doing, your passion, and because I know everybody has that certain point where tics are completely absent from the mind because you are so focused on something. Whenever you do that, remind yourself of what that feels like. Remind yourself, make a mental note of what that feeling is in the absence of all of those tics whenever you're focused and you're just enjoying yourself. You're enjoying your music, your drawing, your video games, your whatever you're doing, helping somebody out, your career, whatever it is. Remember what that feeling is. And next time that you feel a heavy bout of tics coming on, try to focus on what that feeling is. And try to focus on silencing those tics. Because if you really, really focus hard enough, you will feel again that feeling that you did whenever you were focused and the tics were absent of your mind. And you will feel that bit of serenity. And once you get used to it on the regular basis, you can use that calmness to calm your mind just daily. That will also help you control your tics and eventually get rid of them. Also doing that thing that also creates that 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 feeling as well. Doing that more, that hobby, is also a good idea. It's very helpful. It's part of what helped me. Now I did a lot of things. I did a lot of different things. I mean, I even at one point when I started getting a grip on my tics, I even, because I'm a man of faith, and I just want to make this a note really quick. What I believe, like for me, what being a man of faith is I don't go to church every day or every Sunday. I don't. It's just not something that I do. However, what I do is I pray every night. I do that. I try to help as many people as I can, with my time. I try to be a good person. That's what I do. And I trust in God, and I trust that He will, lead me on the right path. And that as long as I'm helping myself, it'll help me out. I am not somebody who goes to church every Sunday. I am not somebody who looks down on others because they do not go to church every Sunday. I will not try to convert you to my religion. But with that said, live and let live. What I did, because I am a man of faith, and promises are sacred to me, is that once I had a better grip on my tics, I tried to push myself even harder, which pushing yourself is great, but you don't want to burn yourself out, which I, again, was so desperate to stop these tics, I ended up doing several times, because I was a bit impatient. But what I did is I promised to God that I would do a few less tics, or that I would stop doing a particular one for that entire day, just a day. And it's something that worked for me because I am a man of faith, and because, I don't want to, well, several things actually, because promises are sacred. I'm a man of my word. I didn't want to break my word. And because I told God I would do something. And, I those three things. And so they're part of my moral fiber. So of course, of course I'm going to keep that promise. I mean, if I were to promise to not do those tics to my best friend, same thing. And that did help a little bit. But again, this is something that I did after I started getting a grip on it, once I knew I was capable of doing that. So, don't go making promises to yourself and stuff like that and expecting it to be easy, because it's not. This was when I was getting a hold of them. Something else I did as well. I listened to music. Now, some of you, these tics will kind of be like loud voices in your mind that just do it, do the tic, please, just a couple of times, just a little bit, so you can release some of that tension and energy. But really, it doesn't release anything. It causes more tension and frustration, because you end up slowly hating yourself for doing it because you can't stop. So instead, listen to music that's very calming to you. Just focus on the music and nothing else. Let your mind and ears open and listen, really, truly listen to the music. Every chord, every note, every word that that person sings, every single little tiny detail that you can of that music. Now, this is again something that you cannot get straight away. This is something that takes time to do, especially with more severe tics. But if you focus on every single sound, then you're using all of your brain power to listen to that sound, and eventually the urge of those tics, one thing's going to give. It's either you listening or the tics, and it will always be the tics so long as you don't give up. And then all you'll hear is the music, and then you just lay there listening to the music for a while and remembering what that feeling is to have the absence of tics replaced with a mind full of music and art. And hold on to that feeling, because that can be used later artificially to help you stop doing tics. And if these are just a few simple things that I've done that with determination can help you at the very least curb your tics, but they are by no means something that you can just do once and you're good to go. It takes practice. It takes time. It takes a hell of a lot of determination. And again, I really want to stress that these tips are not something that you can do instead of going to seek professional help. I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I did, because I could have gotten better a hell of a lot sooner. I could have experienced a lot more life, a lot more that life had to offer as a child. Even as a teenager, I could have. So please, if you can, go out, seek professional help for your mental tics. There's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. There is a reason why these people have careers that pay a shit ton of money to help you get over this, because you're not alone. There's a lot of people that have these tics. So please try to seek help if you can. And while you're seeking help, try to use some of these techniques on top of that. Do everything you can to help yourself, because I don't want you guys to go in a bout of depression. I don't want you to develop depression and anxiety of having these tics. I don't want you guys to develop other mental illnesses on top of these tics, because it's only going to make it worse. So please, while you can, get help as soon as you can. And again, I know some of you won't, and that's part of the reason why I made this video, because some of you, like me, as stubborn as I was, did not go to the doctor. But these are tips for you as well to use, so that way you're able to help yourself, and hopefully realize in the near future that it is very advantageous to seek help, even if it's just talking to somebody, talking to your friend about it that you can really, really trust, or a family member, or even just a random stranger that won't care if you tell them anything because they're a stranger. Just even talking about it with any mental illness is helpful, because that's what it is. It is a mental illness. There's no way around it. So I just wanted to see if there was anybody else that I could help, because I was I want to make more videos about this, but I can only say the same thing over and over again, so many times. But I was inspired by Emily Hart, because she made a video about how she's trying to bring more awareness to mental health, about depression and anxiety and things of that sort. And because tics are so important, or tics are so a part of my life, as they were and still are today, because they kind of made me who I am. They inspire me to try to help you guys that also suffer from this, because there's very little to no videos about this specific mental illness. There are a lot of different kinds of mental tics. There really are. But I hope that this video will help some of you. I mean, honestly, I hope it'll help a hell of a lot of you, but I hope at the very least it helps some of you guys. And yes, as I said before, the reason that I'm not showing my face this time is partly because it's, it is kind of an emotional thing. But also because this is an opportunity to try out this new mic that I have and this OBS software. So yeah, opportunity. Yeah, I'm season it whenever I can. But I would, I am trying new ways to make videos and stuff like that to make them new and interesting for you guys. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that these tips and this video in general uh, will help you guys in any way. I really do, because there isn't anything to be ashamed about. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all have problems. We all have a mental illness of one or another. There's something there's something right with all of us, and there's something wrong with all of us. There's no getting around that. So don't be afraid to be you, and don't be afraid to talk. But also, don't be naive. Be smart about the people that you talk to, because some of them are just out there to be real dicks. So if you're gonna tell somebody something personal, make sure they're somebody that's worth actually taking the time to share things about yourself. Somebody that you care about, somebody that you trust. A doctor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, therapist. So thank you guys for your time. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope my natural voice was actually able to come through this time with this mic. So good luck. Good afternoon.